Top lane. You've probably heard before that top lane is an island, and honestly, it kind of is. Top lane is a solo lane, which means it's often just you and one enemy facing off for the first 10–15 minutes of the game. Because of this, top laners need to be independent. You won't always get jungle help, so your early survival and decision-making are super important. Champions you'll typically see in top lane can be divided into 3 categories based on their playstyle. First, there are tanks. These are champions like Ornn, Malphite, or Sion. They're tough to kill and they scale into late-game team-fighting machines. Even if they don't win lane, they can still offer huge value with crowd control and frontline power. Next, we have bruisers or fighters like Darius, Irelia, or Renekton. These champs are strong in 1v1 fights, deal decent damage, and can carry games if they get a lead. They're perfect for players who want to dominate their lane and snowball. Then there are split pushers. These are champions like Tryndamere, Yorick, or Fiora. Instead of grouping with the team, their goal is to pressure side lanes, take towers, and force enemies to deal with them while the rest of your team takes objectives elsewhere. So, as a top laner, in the early game, you need to focus on farming efficiently, trading smartly, and helping secure Rift Herald or Void Grubs. During the mid-game, your priorities shift to roaming, split pushing, and using teleport to assist your team in taking objectives. And in the late game, depending on your champion, you either team fight as a frontline tank, flank and dive as a bruiser, or apply constant side lane pressure to force enemy rotations and create advantages for your team.
Mid lane. Mid lane is the heart of the map. Mid lane is a solo lane like top, but it's much closer to the action, the dragon, the rift, and both side lanes. That means you'll be involved in fights and rotations earlier and more often. Because of this, mid laners need to be versatile. You'll face all kinds of champions, and your role can change based on team needs and the matchup. Mid lane champions generally fall into 2 categories based on their playstyle. First, there are mages like Orianna, Syndra, or Victor. These champions excel at dealing magic damage from range, controlling fights with powerful abilities, and bursting down enemies quickly. They rely on good positioning and strong team fighting. Next, we have assassins like Zed, Talon, or Katarina. These champions thrive on killing squishy targets fast and snowballing from early kills. They're perfect for aggressive players who want to roam and create chaos across the map. So, as a mid laner, in the early game, you need to focus on farming safely while looking for opportunities to poke or all-in your opponent, and keep track of the enemy jungler. During the mid-game, your role shifts to roaming to side lanes to help your teammates secure kills or objectives, as well as controlling vision around dragon and mid lane. And in the late game, depending on your champion, you'll either deal massive damage in team fights, assassinate priority targets, or provide critical crowd control to turn fights in your team's favor. Jungle. As a jungler, you're the roaming playmaker who impacts every lane and controls key objectives. Unlike laners, you don't have a fixed lane. Instead, you move between camps in the jungle, farming monsters to gain gold and experience while looking for chances to help your teammates. Your job is to gank lanes to create pressure, secure objectives like Dragon and Baron, and control vision to keep your team safe and informed. Junglers usually fall into a few main playstyles. First, there are tank junglers like Sejuani or Zac, who initiate fights and soak damage for their team. Then you have damage-focused junglers like Lee Sin or Kha'Zix, who look for picks and early kills to snowball their lead. And there are also farm-heavy, scaling junglers like Master Yi or Kayn, who focus on clearing camps efficiently to become powerful later in the game. So, as a jungler, in the early game, you focus on clearing your camps efficiently, watching lanes for gank opportunities, and helping your laners get ahead. During the mid-game, you prioritize securing objectives like Rift Herald, dragon and towers while continuing to gank and create pressure around the map. And in the late game, you either lead team fights as a frontline tank or assassinate key targets.
Bot lane. On bot lane, you usually play as marksman, ADC, and you are the core of your team's consistent, long-range physical damage, especially in the mid to late game. You play in the bot lane alongside a support, and your main job is simple: deal damage, stay alive, and carry team fights. You're one of the squishiest champs on the map, but if you play it right, you become the team's strongest weapon. ADC champions usually fall into three main categories based on playstyle. First, we've got hyper carries like Jinx, Kog'Maw, or Aphelios. These champions scale hard into the late game and can absolutely shred teams as long as they're kept alive. Next, there are lane bullies like Lucian or Draven or Caitlyn. These picks dominate early trades and aim to get a lead before the game even hits mid. And then you have poke and utility ADCs like Ashe, Ezreal, or Varus. They bring slows, vision, or long-range harass to the team, and don't always need to be front and center to make an impact. So, as an ADC, in the early game, your job is to farm efficiently, trade smartly, and survive lane without falling behind. Your support helps with pressure and protection, but your own positioning and awareness are just as important. During the mid-game, you start grouping with your team for objectives, rotating to other lanes to take towers, and deliver damage from the backline. And in the late game, it's your time to shine. If you're positioned well and protected, you'll carry fights with high DPS. But one misstep, and you're gone. The fight's over before it begins. So, as the bot lane carry, your job is to scale through farming, rotate smartly in mid-game, and team fight like a machine in the late game, all while dodging hooks, assassins, and whatever else the enemy throws at you.
Support. The support role is often called the team's unsung hero. You might not get all the kills, but your impact is huge. Supports partner with the ADC in bot lane early on, but their job goes way beyond just helping in lane. You're responsible for vision control, protecting your teammates, and setting up plays that can turn the tide of fights. Support champions usually fall into a few main types. First, there are engaged supports like Leona, Nautilus, or Thresh. These champions excel at initiating fights with crowd control and locking down enemies so your team can follow up. Next, there are healing or shielding supports such as Janna, Lulu, or Nami. These champs keep their teammates alive with heals, shields, and buffs, allowing carries to stay in fights longer. Then, you have utility and poke supports like Zyra or Brand, who provide damage from afar and control zones with crowd control spells. So, as a support, in the early game you focus on helping your ADC farm safely, trading or poking enemies, and placing wards to control vision. During the mid-game, your role expands to roaming to help other lanes, securing vision around key objectives like Dragon and Baron, and setting up picks or fights. And in the late game, you act as the team's protector and playmaker, peeling for your carries, engaging fights when needed, and using vision control to keep your team safe.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more content like this. I appreciate the support, and see you in the next one.